once you get into the back, so plenty of time to kill stuff. And we're off.
He's in the wrong game.
What? Okay, Uncle has to give us bow now.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I'm going to be kind of upset if the Uncle doesn't give us the bow.
Yeah, or bow is just in Turtle Rock or in GT. I can't wait for the first
Bow
map
on.
check and seeing Pendant on Eastern.
Bow on Trinex. We don't know how silly this is going to be yet, though, so...
Okay, just a bomb escape. So this is kind of technically a bit more tricky than the other weapons, but it does mean that we at least have, or most likely have, a bomb for the back of escape. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm not quite as big a fan as, Blue King, but I really, really like having the knowledge that I don't have to spend time farming as long as I don't use all of these up.
So we'll have to see if we get some different strats for the blue and the green guards.
Getting a couple of guards to run into bombs is a little bit difficult. You can do the strategy of just holding the bomb and running at them, but unfortunately at this point with green mail and 3 hearts, that's really, really dangerous.
Yeah, face tanking is not something you would like to do. Kapimozr certainly has some predetermined tech there.
Yeah, that was really impressive, actually. It's like he knew. He must be a telepath or something, because he knew that guard was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna take a turn around the chest here." It's just a little bit unfortunate that he got caught in the blast a little bit afterwards, though. But yeah, there's plenty of health in this part of the escape, so
As long as he gets through the next 2 rooms without taking too much damage, he should be okay. Ooh. You have to be careful in the next room. Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing.
you may taking the hold bomb until it explodes method.
Yeah, I find the third room a bit probably the most tricky of the 3. So taking the simple tech there seems okay.
It was actually really good timing because Yume was actually taking the hits from the guard, not the bombs. So that actually saves half a heart per hit.
Yeah, making use of the invincibility frames, that's very wise. Just like using pots for the ball and chain guard here.
There's really little reason to throw bombs at this guy. It's just using up limited resources. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's nice. Means no weird spot like in Checkerboard Cave or a long fetch quest all the way through the light world.
Zelda's probably not all that happy that we just ran down there and took all her jewelry, though.
It's a small cost in order to save the world. So, on the right screen, Zelda is following a random cactus, while on the left screen, she's following a witch. I'm not sure which of the 2 is more tempting. What do you think of the sprite choices?
Well, cactuars are always amusing, so just that arm flailing animation is one of the best sprite animations out there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Unfortunately, that doesn't stop me from not liking them in their original games because of their tendency to just pick someone and make them dead.
1,000 needles. It's quite a painful death. Yeah, very small difference in the times here, going into the sewers.
Nice escape from both so far, making good time, especially with bombs.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is yet to come, though.
The rat.
Yeah, key rat. It's terrible. It's the only reason why I'm still not confident with all the bomb strats.
Any other weapon, this is easy, but with bombs, it can just be a real issue. This is definitely where you probably just want hearts to just hold the bomb over your head and run into it.
Yeah, definitely. Picking up a few hearts on the way is totally worth it in order to secure the key. Okay, don't lose sight of him, Cappy. Yume got the wrong one. Okay, Cappy got it. Yume deciding to reset the room. That might be a wise decision.
Cappy needs to be a little bit careful here.
All the rats are in the wrong spot here.
Carefully dodging those rats.
Pick up extra hand powder.
Wow.
And more
Game
space for
please.
bombs.
You may unfortunately about to be out of bombs.
Yeah. Might have to actually reset the game in order to get more for the pack. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough one. Like I said, for the key rat, bombs are definitely the hardest one to get through.
Fortunately, the developers did put in checkpoints on your way through, so they don't have to completely reset. They are just put back in the throne room with 3 bombs to try again. Kind of a small consolation because it is still a really unfortunate time loss, but it's better than having to start over from scratch.
Yeah, I have to do the entire 6 minutes over again. It's heartbreaking, so it's very nice of the developers that they decided to put this method in there. Kapimozr not deciding to check out the bush crab or lumberjack cave, so we're going to see a straight Lost Woods check here. More bomb bags.
Game, please.
I mean, I know we got a bomb start, but I don't know about that. Wow, the key rat is really bullying Yume here. Okay,
But they get it.
we got
And
there.
still have the one left, so...
No real drops from enemies yet either. That's not helping.
Alright, so I bet Kapimozr was probably going to be hoping to get at least one chest with bombs in here to prevent a trip down to the vendor.
Having to go back and forth with Kakariko definitely takes a bit of time. It's not exactly the worst, but it's just really annoying. And instead we're just getting a bit of money. Oh, a lot more money.
Wow, Blind was pretty competent this time.
Sometimes we just get some weird trinkets, but oh, well, we stole old Blind's cane.
That is a really appropriate Blind's hut, all things considered.
Money and a cane. Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, if you're a blind thief, you kind of need both of those, so...
Wow. A bit of expensive bombs, but it surely takes less walking.
That's not the vendor I was talking about when I was talking about buying bombs, but okay.
We're going to see a different check from Yume here.
Ooh, unfortunately killing the Hoarder Crab. Quake and, well...
A sword on Lumberjack Cave.
Oh no. I don't think we're going to be seeing that picked up, but I'm not going to discount it entirely.
We've seen some races where after Aghanim 2, someone decided to go into Aghanim 1 to pick up a sword afterwards.
The bush crab's having full magic drops and immediately throwing it out of bounds. So
The game is being pretty rude today. So we're almost out of the Kakariko checks. Cappy does decide to buy a few more bombs. That's probably a wise decision.
unfortunately, no bottles, so they're probably going to have to come back to check Sick Kid later. Not that that's an issue because you come back to this region probably a dozen times over the course of a race.
Yeah, to activate the flute to get to the village or outcast, there's quite a few moments where this area is accessible.
All right, library. You gonna force books? You gonna force boots on us today?
Nope.
Nope.
And chat pointing out that fake flip ring to Zora is very attractive considering all the 300 rupees we got.
So fake flipping is like always a correct choice. I'm not biased in this in any way.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. It depends on the situation.
It really does.
I like fake flip ring to hobo anyway, but the waterfall cave and Zora sometimes depends on just my mood, I guess, or on how much I have otherwise.
That is a very fair assessment for people who aren't crazy about fake flipping.
But it's definitely worth doing a lot of the times.
Unfortunately, it is one of those tricks that, being a sequence break, it can hurt you if you forget the part where you did it.
Oh, I have to find the flippers, but I do have the hook shot from hobo, but you don't realize it. Yeah, that can trip you up. Being aware of what you got via different items and knowing what is not locked behind something is very important.
There's a bush crab there. Okay.
Yeah, I probably knew that, but it never occurred to me to check it there. That's pretty good knowledge. That mini Molar was spouting out a bit.
Wow.
A lot.
Really? That one got stuck super hard.
Okay.
No,
Oh, no.
fake flippers! No!
That's quite a loaded cave. I mean, Kakariko didn't have a lot, so I guess Sphere 1 decided to give us a bit of a hand anyway.
Yeah, I would never argue with that lineup there. The lamp alone would be pretty good, but unfortunately, knowing how, I'm not going to call it, but I've got my questioning as to whether T-Rock is actually a crystal or not now.
Yeah, earlier Ice Rod means that T-Rock is a pendant. That seems to be the running gag. But that early lamp might point us towards a certain wizard.
Eastern is our red pendant, but the other two are crystals, so two Dark World dungeons.
Yeah, having a few Light World crystals certainly helps with the seed speeding up a bit. Depending on the Dark World crystal or Dark World pendants, we might have a lower bar for our go mode. But with Cane and Ice Rod already available, we might not even be hunting for that much.
I'm just gonna guess it now because I can. It's gonna be Swamp and Turtle Rock that are the Dark World pendants.
Great.
Because that would be the silliest option.
And there's the ball and the fire rod.
Okay, if T-Rock's not a pendant, That is actually a really, really good find.
Okay, well, early game is delivering.
That also just functions as a really, really good weapon for a couple of areas. If they go into Skull Woods, they still need a sword to actually fight Mothula, so hopefully we'll see that sooner rather than later. Let's not have our swords this time.
Well, we know at least one location of a sword, but you need a sword to get that one in the first place.
Yeah, that's kind of self-defeating.
You never know when you need the Master Sword. Well,
Those other swords on tablets. No, Seed, why?
okay. We did not have an Ice Rod Cave check from Cappy, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure if Yume will go there, but Cappy seems to be going to the eastern region. That sounds pretty reasonable to me.
3 items from Sazrala, and 2 to 3 in Eastern, depending on item layout, so...
Just following high density, that makes a lot of sense. But we don't have any item to point us to the Dark World yet. No gloves, no sword, no cape. I mean, I guess the lamp kind of counts for the Aga, but otherwise, no hammer yet either.
Yeah, actually, we're still... Oh no, crab.
No. There's one sword.
Yep, Cappy
That's
getting first
really
sword.
unfortunate for you, man. I wonder if he'll go back to Archard Cave or just decide to check the flipper spots instead now.
It's so hard just watching that sprite run around.
Good thing push to talk is a thing, right?
Yeah, basically. So, Yume coming back down this area, probably just going to go to Hobo first. Yeah, and then they might cycle back around to Ice Rod.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. It's on the way now anyway. But those crabs, though, those are the worst enemies in the light world.
I don't know why they decided a light world enemy needed to do two hearts of damage, especially when they like die in one hit to anything. They're just disproportionately powerful to everything else in the area. Oh no, mushroom.
Oh look, fetch quests.
Everyone loves doing those.
The worst part is with having mushroom and cane, you might want to wait with delivering it in order to maybe be able to fake powder once you find the hammer or have Dark World access with the mirror in the midst. Yume does decide to go back to the Ashot Cave. That's true determination.
It's being thorough. The last thing you want to do is find out that the actual required progression is here and it being literally your last location. Or worse, you go and fight Aghanim if you get a second sword or the cape.
Yeah, there's definitely two lines of thought there. Just letting it go because, well, I died there anyway and I might be behind, so I need to make up for something. Or doing it anyway because, well...
Or it can be a big 20 and the game can laugh at you.
Yeah, that's a feel bad. 2 items out of Eastern so far. The big key is in its vanilla spot.
I'd say the good news is we don't need to do the dark rooms, but the dark rooms, in at least the first ones, aren't that bad. The back dark room can be a bit of a pain, but fortunately...
With the fire rod, it would potentially be a lot easier. But we don't have to bother with it in the first place now. So that's
it's
pretty nice.
easiest with the lamp.
So what locations do we have after the Eastern checks? We have the mushroom and we have the bottle. Are we missing anything else?
I mean, we could go back to Sick Kid.
Yeah, so there's Sikid Witch, and I think we've not checked Agina yet. But otherwise, there's not much left.
It's going to be really unfortunate if Aghanis Cave actually has an item in it. Or the item.
Yeah. I personally don't mind the early Agina check. Oh, just there's the last item on Armos, so even though it's a pendant, we might have to go back there.
All right, Cappy, what are you doing?
He
This
still hasn't
might
checked
be...
Ice Rod either.
Oh yeah, that's true. This might also be Agnes Cave. We'll see whether they go right or left here.
You
No, I
can
think
go
this
through the
is...
portal here in order to get to the witch quickly.
Oh yeah, that's right. You may, unfortunately, just following in Cappy's footsteps at this point is gonna make their way over here and find out that while the sword is nice, there's not much else in the region.
Yeah, having the early mishap with the bombs on the key rats definitely hurts, especially together with the death near Archrod Cave. But he's definitely not out of it yet.
Oh
You
yeah,
never
it's
know what
definitely
happens in the Dark World Divergence. Oh, there's the hammer. That does literally nothing at this point.
smashes stuff, I guess.
It's a virtual tempered sword, that's true.
It's a tempered sword with a worse hitbox.
What's funny is that this oh, we found the powder, of course. We don't even need to fake powder. Oh, I'm a doofus. Anyway, Batcave is unlocked as well.
Everyone just gets excited to do fake powder because you don't get to see it very often, so...
And yeah, Kakriko certainly seems like a reasonable option as you have Sickit and Batcave to check.
I'm guessing we're going to see both here, though. There's no reason not to check Mother here, and it's probably a better attempt at going to Agnes Cave.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Wow, robbing rich kid's entire family this time.
Well, someone said that Sickit was about to pay out, and well, you were certainly right. That was a rich, sick kid.
I'm expecting something decent from... not quite there yet.
Yep, dwarf's still missing.
I'm expecting the bat to have something, though. Just because. It would be like V29 to say, here, go do the fetch quest to get the hammer from the mushroom, now go to Batman.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. And would you look at that?
Oh no.
This does not bode well, now does it?
Alright, it's Aghanim time.
So, if you were in Cappy's shoes now, would you immediately run straight to Aghanim, or would you go to Agina's cave first?
Well, I'd go to Agnes Cave myself because I just don't like Aghanim, but let's go visit Aghanim's cousin by the looks of it.
Yeah, considering there's like the power glass just immediately opens up the dark world. There's a couple of items that just unlock more. It's certainly tempting to just hope for Agina to have something, and it's still a Sphere 1 location, so there's a higher probability of being progression.
There's also very little worse feeling than doing... It's probably better to take this small time loss than go straight to Aghanim and be like, well, I just spent like 5 minutes doing something I didn't need to do.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well. Being a bit greedy with the bomb there. Oh,
Nope, it's Aghanim o'clock.
the positive part of this is that once they do find the boots at some point, we will be able to get a free sword on Lumberjack Cave. But wow, the insane amount of Aghanim seeds has been pretty revolting.
Oh, he did skip Ice Rod Cave, interestingly, but that is a very, very long walk, so I can't really say much like against just coming to Aghanim right now. Having not checked it while he's down there without Flute, it's a huge amount of time to head back there.
Yeah, it is quite interesting that he decides to go to Agina but not Icebound, but I can't really fault him.
I think he kind of decided he was going to do one or the other, and with Aghanim not turning up anything. Ultimately, even if you do spend the time on Aghanim, it still does give you Dark World access, so...
Yeah.
Plus, if they have to do Pyramid Fairy later, it also has the advantage of having the quick portal here, too, so...
It's the small time saves that matter.
Alright, guessing Yume is going to go and do the Kakariko Village checks, and we'll see if they decide to head over to Aghanim as well, or if they're just going to be like, no, we're just going to head straight to Aghanim.
Considering how far away he's been so far, I would expect him to check Agina. Coming back for Ice Rod Cave after the death certainly implies that he doesn't want to leave anything behind at this point.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to either. It's just a little bit too risky sometimes to leave a location. Burning the red guards.
Yeah. Having the fire rod here is so nice. Being forced to do this with something like the fighter sword and no other weapons is terrible.
The fire rod is a fantastic weapon early, just because it one-shots so much. Ooh, you may unfortunately not having the magic to use powder on Batman.
He could try to fake powder with the powder. He does have the Cane of Samaria, but he doesn't seem to occur to him.
Can you fake powder with the powder?
You can definitely fake powder with the powder. They are in the same item slot, so it reads it as, yeah, powder regardless.
Alright, fair enough. I've never actually seen anyone attempt that, so I wasn't sure if it was possible or not.
So he's going to find a bush crab. It's quite a walk, but he does need to do it for the Master Sword.
Alright, so how many blue balls were we going to get from Magnum?
So I could just be mathematically average and say 3, because that's what is the most likely to occur. But I'm just going to be nice and say 1. How about you?
I'll go with 2.
Okay, so we're not completely sadistic today. There's 1.
Okay, we can't have 1 million.
We could if he just decides to dodge.
If he decides to
not return any and not return the favor, that's the second one.
Yeah, if he really just wants to nod.
Okay, well, we're both wrong. I'm okay with this. It seems to be free. He's going to have his lightning now, and then the first ball now is going to be a guaranteed energy shot.
Unfortunately, Yume's about to find out that all that trip to get... Oh no, wait, that is the math. What am I talking about? I'm being silly. Ignore me. That was totally worth going and getting.
Yeah, we were both being silly. That's okay. Okay, so now there's a great decision. Does he go to Agina? Yeah. Okay. Just being thorough. I missed the pyramid check. Well, did you catch what was on there?
Arrows.
Okay, no wonder he skipped that then.
For some reason, I thought the bat had... Oh man, Turtle Rock is actually a crystal.
Impossible.
With both rods.
So, we have Pendant Eastern and Pendant Pod. Can you explain what this might mean for our runners here?
Well, 2 relatively nice dungeons are not required, but they're probably going to check them anyways. Especially, well, they've already checked Eastern, so I can't really predict that one. But Pod is a really good dungeon for number of items. So
Yeah, I definitely expect a check. It does mean that the bow might be in Ganon's tower.
oh no, let's not.
There are some certain ramifications that.
If Bo's in GT Big Chest, I'm blaming you.
No, I mean that it would be beautiful considering our very first items were silvers.
Wow, that'd actually be basically bookends. Here's the bow like right at the end of the game, and here's the silvers right at the beginning.
It's like true poetry. So Cappy does not. I don't think he bought a potion when he turned in the mushroom, so he won't be able to check the bow-locked side with the glance goo glitch. So we'll see how far we can get into Pod here.
Are we just naming everything with alliteration now?
I like it.
I mean, I approve. Alliteration is always good. All right, so he's gonna probably head back around and check the big key chest here.
Yeah, it is pretty standard routing.
The worst you get out of it is just another small key, so
it's just very efficient.
Speaking of small key.
Yeah, without being able to check the right side, you just cannot guess whether it's a small key or not. This does mean that we can get everything aside from Helmasaur and the 2 chests on the right side.
Alright, now that we've gotten 4 of the small keys out of Pod.
Well, those were the 4 guaranteed ones, at least.
Are they guaranteed? I know...
There's at least 4 guaranteed small keys in the front in order to prevent any soft locks from happening.
Alright, because I'm pretty sure I found an item up on this ledge here before and been like, no, I can't go back and check the big key chest.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of depends on whether the back of Pod is bow locked or not. The front includes the 2 chests on the right side. So 4 out of those 6 chests are guaranteed small keys, but they might be 5 or 6 as well.
Tempered.
Okay, this is pretty gentle. I did not expect them to find so many swords, considering there was one on Lumberjack Cave.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to go back for Butter Sword at this point.
No, I agree. We've already found 3 items so far in Pod. That's surprising.
I think the only way they're going to get Butter is if Kapimozr just goes and immediately grabs it if he finds boots rather than opting to check it first.
Alright, because he doesn't actually know there's a sword on there.
Not at the moment.
So, only the sword in Pod. I'm not... That's 4 items even. So we might find everything without actually having to check anything else. Okay, there is 1 item left.
And then a burrito happens.
Slightly disappointing, but tasty. You sometimes need a snack after all that hard work.
It would have been great if we picked that up before getting, roasted so much by the whatever those little things are. Are they the schemed equivalent to dongos? I don't know what they are.
Yeah, they're called kodongos, I think. I know. I know. Actually, I think the light world ones are called kodongos. I'm not sure if the dark world ones have a different name. They have a different color.
I'm just gonna call them those fire things.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yume finishing off Aghanim right now. We'll see if he decides to immediately dive pod as well.
So we might be getting our possible hype cave here in a moment.
Hype cave has certainly been more hype than in previous iterations of the logic.
Being knocked around a little bit here from explosions and spears, but making it in.
The general area is actually pretty dangerous. With very low health, there's a chance of that. Oh, well, there's the boots we were talking about, and the hook shot.
That's pretty hype. That's pretty hype. I would never complain about getting that.
Yeah. There's no reason to complain about this. And we might see Yume picking up his tempered sword from Lumberjack Cave after this.
Interestingly, we still don't have any lift upgrades.
Right, but we do have a way to get to the North Dark World by swimming through the river and then hookshotting over to the other side with the hookshot we just found. Oh, actually we also have the hammer, so we can just knock down this pipe. I'm being more silly.
Cappy opting to come straight over here rather than going to Catfish.
Well, you just were saying that we don't have a lift upgrade yet, so we can't actually reach Catfish.
Oh, that giant rock I always forget about.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You're so used to getting at least a lift upgrade right near the beginning of the game that there's so many little things laying around that are all of a sudden like, wait, I can't actually go there.
It's just like with Bumper Cave. You just think that you need a cape to get there, but there's also a rock in front of it.
Yeah. You can at least look at that one before you get a lift upgrade, and then realize that there's something there and lament your inability to pick it up.
Okay, Cappy seems to be triggering his fairy. Oh, we get a digging game here for Yume. We'll see what's in Skull Woods in a bit.
Getting the convenient small key there for getting out of this room.
Yeah, that's better than
Digging
taking a
game.
long loop around. It's quite a few digs. And not a real reward. Yeah, nothing else to do in the south loop at this point. So
Opting to save and quit.
I think this is faster than running all the way around. Because you also still have the hammer packs that you need to get through. Might not actually be too much of a difference.
I'm curious if Yume is going to be making their trip into Pod here, or if they're going to go somewhere else. Because they might be going along the North Shore to Village of Outcast now.
Yeah. I think if Yume had... I think he's aware of the goo glitch. So I think if he had something in his bottle, he might have gone into Pod. But with the risk of there being a bow lock situation, he might not feel too confident.
Wait, am I being blind, or did Yume not actually go into? Yeah, they went into the hype cave. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I was just surprised that he was walking as well.
Yeah, that's why I was getting confused. I was like, they're walking everywhere.
So this upcoming Mafia fight might be a little tricky with 8 hearts. Also, I'm surprised that Yume did not grab his tempered sword before heading over here.
If they're comfortable with Master Sword, then you're going to want to pick it up at some point, just not like a huge priority.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest help is during the Mafia fight, so that was mostly the reason, but he should still be fine. Cappy making use of that early powder to stay on full health before the fight.
Ugh, this room's not being nice to them, though.
No, definitely not. This is probably one of the worst rooms. The previous one can be terrible as well if you get bunny beamed.
Skullwoods is just nothing but worse rooms.
Yeah, there's the mummy room before the vanilla big key. Yeah, there's quite some terribleness. Only 2 hearts left. Needs to be careful. Nice fight. Very good. Yume also losing his fairy now.
Whilst being relatively cooperative, all things considered.
Yeah, the fight could have definitely gone worse. He can just stay stuck in the corner and not decide to come out at all.
And you're just stuck running in circles, dodging spikes the entire time. Yume is probably going to have a harder time with that, though, because, again, they didn't go and get a tempered sword yet, so...
Yeah, and just losing the fairy just now doesn't help either, considering the little amount of health that they have. Wow, he was
Bumpers.
knocked back.
Wow. Okay.
Just preparing for the death warp.
That's probably it, yeah. It's just flying everywhere. And now they have to take a trip to the Skullwoods Big Chest, too.
Great times. You have a key. You don't need this one.
Unfortunately, losing a couple of fire rod shots they could have used against the moth as well.
Yeah, especially with Master Sword, having the extra fire rod shots helps a lot. Getting the first hit off with tempered damage. Oh, 2 even, so he's well on his way to getting Moth down now. As long as he doesn't decide to stick to the wall here. Very nice.
Nice fight.
That was really clean considering Master Sword.
Couple of good spins and a couple of good fire rod shots. Moss deciding to hang around the middle of the room.
Yeah, with Master Sword it's definitely doable. You don't really mind going into the Moth fight, but it's still not super confident.
It's still really dangerous when you've got green mail and can only take, what, 4 hits total from the moth?
Yeah. He does 2 hearts of damage with green mail. And not only touching him, those stupid circle beams as well. It's just a nasty fight. So I don't think we found anything of real use in Skullwoods. So we'll head over to the Village of Outcasts right now.
Yeah, unfortunately even the big chest itself is just a big 20, so...
They won't have any money problems this seed. I saw just a bit ago that the stun prize was also a big 20. If they need any potions, they'll be able to fund that.
Well, if you're saying them, they pull a 50 out of a chest again. They've got so much money.
And they already bought stuff from Zora as well. Alright, Thief's Stand. This is definitely the dungeon where I like having boots most, so it's nice that both of them found it already.
Yeah, between this first section, the runs at the back, and even if you can get at the Hellway's God Pixel, just being able to attempt that is just nice in and of itself.
Yeah, just makes it easier to dash through enemies that just decide to walk in random directions. It can all be really dangerous. Our Cactuar turned into a Chocobo. This sprite is awesome.
Hey, look, the other one of Blind's canes.
This is a very thematic seed.
We took their first cane. They're like, "Nah, I've got a backup. It's okay." Then we took that one too.
We are monsters. How could we do this to the poor man?
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see, beating Blind with one of the canes, but...
Maybe if they decide to be in a pickle and, as a last resort, use the cane. But I think they should be fine at this point. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
It's definitely the most satisfying thing.
That is much harder to pull off than it looks. There's like no margin for error, and sometimes one of the jellyfish things just sits in the middle of the room, and you're just gonna bump into it if you keep running and take damage.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of RNG in there.
Hey, look, the lift upgrade.
Nice. Okay, so that's French vanilla, I guess. It's definitely the dungeon where it's supposed to be in. The gray variety, I guess, but
I'm going to laugh when we get another one in the big chest, so we actually get the French vanilla and the actual vanilla.
that would be great. But regarding the God Pixel in this room, there is a way to kind of set it up. If you start dashing from the entrance of the room, so you don't start walking left before you dash, you always dash in a multiple 4 pixels, or proceeding 4 pixels. So if you stop the dash at the right frame, you can just press up and dash again, and you have a bigger chance of being on the right pixel rather than 1 or 2 pixels off.
That sounds like a pretty good way of doing it. I'll have to keep that in mind.
And bubbles. Okay, so this does mean that the big chest actually contains a small key. He's going to bonk into it right now. Realization sets in.
It's really easy to get excited about being able to like full clear thieves while you're here when you've got the hammer. So it's just one of those chests that you really, really don't want to even remotely risk leaving behind, and it really hurts when you have to because not having the hammer or something like that.
Yeah, not having the hammer, deciding to go into Thief's Zone anyway, getting the key, and then the dread starts kicking in. So let's see how Cappy's blind fight goes. Okay, slightly off script, but should be fine with the health. Ooh! Oh no!
Ooh.
So that's where the blue K might have come in handy, but he was confident enough.
This is going to give Yume a bit of time to, a bit of time to catch up from the unfortunate crab and bomb issues earlier, so...
Yeah, definitely allows him to catch up.
Even when you're relatively confident with your blind fight, it's definitely a case of sometimes it's better to just be safe and pull out take a second to pull out the blue cane just in case it gets into a situation like that.
Yeah, once it gets hairy, you better be safe than sorry, especially as shown in this case. And the seed has not been super gentle with the defensive properties yet. No mill upgrade. Very little hearts for being 48 minutes in. Okay, he does realize. Nice. Okay.
And boop. Just run straight into them.
Gets a shield. Okay. The game telling him, just here's some defense. Take the hint.
What's the defense we want? Give us more health or a meal upgrade.
I actually really like having a fire shield into this fight, just in case there's this random shot that does head toward you. The fighter shield doesn't really do a whole lot, that's true.
It's sometimes good for when the moblins on the overworld decide to chuck a spear at you, but other than that, it really doesn't do very much.
So I was thinking that there's not a whole lot to check, but with those gloves that we got, we have the entire Light World Death Mountain to check right now. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that soon. Maybe. I guess digging game can be done now just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, Cappy hasn't done digging game nor Stumpy yet. So he'll do those checks first.
They can access the light world by save and quit. If you don't have the mirror, it will put you back in light world.
Yeah, the game definitely has some features to make sure that we don't soft lock.
Now for Cappy's 500 million digs here.
We will be very happy to find his big 20. And we'll also find a full heart from Stumpy, I believe. Showing off a little bit.
As long as you don't screen transition with the shovel out.
I believe that you don't softlock as long as you have the mirror flute or shovel equipped. I'm not sure about the specifics there. There are a few items that you won't softlock with, but otherwise you need to be really careful. Alright, Stumpy giving his full heart. Nothing in Bonk Rocks.
Alright, here comes Death Mountain.
I think Yume will get his sword first.
Actually, yeah, this is like a perfect time to do it because you have to come up this way anyways, so.
Oh,
Yume.
oh, what are we doing? Yume!
You may stop making us liars. That's not nice. Oh, it looks like you're fairly confident with just Master Sword then.
Yeah, that should be a good excuse. Not just disregard the potential time save that tempered sword allows. Do you think Cappy will blind do? Oh, he might actually.
Do it. No, don't
checking
check.
first. What?
No.
Unacceptable.
Butter sword. Come on, Cappy. You have to go pick it up now that you've seen it. Everything's better with butter.
He's actually going for it. I appreciate this.
I definitely appreciate this. So that's basically the as free as a lot of the fights in the game can get. Yeah.
I mean, Vitreous might still be a little rough if you have to do the damage boost strats. You would love to have a bow of silvers, but sword-wise, I mean, what else do you want? Okay, so Yume has not checked pot yet, but otherwise we are pretty even when it comes to locations checked.
Hopefully for them, they just won't check. They won't check pod because as long as they get the lumberjack tree, they really don't need to force sword.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything else. There is still an item left in Petals of Darkness, but
we'll just hope it's nothing important.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, even Paradox Cave not... I guess we can't have too many hype caves in one match.
Yeah, and I guess the Sphere 01 has priority.
Not to mention actual hype cave being hype for once, so...
Yeah, that was great to see for once.
So let's see if Yume is going to go to Hera from here, or if they're just doing Spiral Cave first.
I like doing Hera into Spiral Cave. It's just a bit more efficient routing rather than having to go through Paradox Cave again.
Apparently Yume's eyes are very fast because I have no idea what was up there on the island.
Yeah, me neither. I guess we might have to see it from Cappy's side.
Alright, Hera, what do you have for us? Well, that's immediately not exciting.
Oh boy. I mean, we are running out of locations at this point. I guess Catfish is open now.
If Catfish is the one that's actually holding the progression, it's gonna be dumb.
Wouldn't be the first time. Won't
I
be the
know.
last. Okay, okay. Show us what's on here. Okay, just a quiver, an arrow upgrade.
Good to know.
No wandering for minutes on end.
There's Tara's items, a big 20 and a piece of heart.
Good times. Item-wise, we're actually pretty set. It looks like at this point we only need the bow, the mirror, and the Titansmiths. Eventually, Ether. Oh, we might need either the book or the.
Ooh.
Ooh, that hurts.
Trolldorn being really mean today.
Yeah, Moldorm definitely has some nasty tendencies. Usually there you can prevent it. There's a lot of interaction that you can have with him, but especially in the beginning. Sometimes if he's close to the edge, you can just say, nah, we don't want you in here. And once you're actually in the fight, you should be okay.
I hate when he just camps the bottom thing. Just let me jump down.
He's actually the most dangerous when he's at the bottom, because usually when you're next to the edge and you hold towards the middle area, you'll be okay. But actually near the wall, he will still hit you.
Alright, nice second fight with the hammer.
Yeah, a lot cleaner. Cappy will have a lot of easier time with the butter sword. So, yeah, okay.
So, Yume's heading back over to Spiral Cave by the looks of it.
Yeah, no need to check the basement. It locked the small key itself. It's not the resident sleeper cave this time. That's nice. Did Cappy already check Spiral Cave?
I don't know, but it looks like they're going for Spike instead.
I guess that's a decision you can make.
With the boots and Blue Cane, this cave is really, really easy to get to.
Yeah. I mean, at least Spiral Cave did not have anything. Because that's quite a nasty standalone location if it has something like the Titansmiths. There's no reason to come back there. Does look like we're going to see either Pod or Catfish. Yeah, he's seems to be going to Pod. That's going to be... that was the equalizer.
We had the literacy hiding in Spike Cave.
Oh, okay. That's quite something.
So now the tablets are accessible as well as Desert, and with boots already, Desert is completable and a crystal.
Yeah, that seems like a very logical place to go to right now. At least 3 items. Yeah, Yume going to Pod. At least he has the boots, so it will all go a little bit quicker.
It's still kind of unfortunate. They will get their tempered here, though, so they might opt to not bother with Lumberjack Cave.
Yeah, that's very true. Nothing on the desert ledge.
And as I continue to giggle at the Cactuar sprite.
I completely missed what his praying animation was. I feel bad now. The way that he dashes as well. It's great. Okay, so Desert is boots locked. Not that means a whole lot at this point, but
It at least meant that boots were basically guaranteed. Or well, not basically guaranteed. Were guaranteed at one point or another. Beemo was just shooting him in the face. Now for the small key out of the big chest. So that we can run all the way across the dungeon again.
this dungeon is great.
Maybe. Not sure if Kapimozr... yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't had any items yet, so there is a guaranteed one at the right side.
I also forgot that Desert doesn't... When you finish Landmols, doesn't spit you back out at the front center entrance. It puts you back out at the back entrance, so...
Yeah, so we would have to walk all the way back. That's no fun. Oh, great items.
More bombs. Yeah.
Wow.
Game, where do you want us to go?
There's still catfish.
And there is still catfish, yes. We're getting closer to that.
The longer we go, the worse it is to find the mirror, considering how many lone locations there are.
Is it time for the revenge of Graveyard Ledge?
Oh, lovely location.
I love that location when you've already got boots, because it's basically on its own, unless you can't, unless you don't have Titans for King's Tomb.
Yeah, they will be able to link it in that case, but I do wonder what they'll get. Worst scenario in this case is if they get the bow, I guess. I mean, it's nice that they have the bow, but just one item being left in Pod and Eastern. Yuck.
Especially when they're both pendants, is even worse.
Yeah, that's not gonna help either.
Oh man, yeah, if something is on Ether Tablet as well, that would just be... Well, now they've gone down the mountain. Are you ready to climb back up the mountain?
Yeah, at least he'll be able to link that with Sparrow Cave, so that's out of his mind then as well. Oh no, don't use all the magic. That fire rod is useful.
I mean, he's got Butter Sword. He's just gonna Butter Sword Landmols.
That precious one cycle. Alright, slather those worms with butter.
I'll admit, I consciously left that one alone, but... Alright, so where are you going now, Cap?
He already has 4 crystals at this point, so he's making good on good time.
Oh, here comes our catfish check.
Alright, let's get our drum rolls in chat. What do you want to find?
Sorry, you can pick up the big rocks, but you can't pick up that little one.
Yeah, the little ones have higher density.
Apparently more than 4 times density.
Great. Well, that was a disappointment. So I guess it is the book that unlocks everything.
Come on, Ether Tablet.
Oh boy. I wonder if I'm forgetting about a location. I'm not sure where Yume is going. Okay.
I'm trying to
Oh
think.
no!
But there's-
Checking Sparrow Cave before tablets? Oh no. Don't leave us in suspense for so long.
Yeah, they can't finish Eastern and Pod without the bow to get those items. They can't get into Swamp without the mirror. They need Titans for Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. And they need Titans and Flute for Mire, so...
And there's only Overworld left at this point.
So let's find out what this tablet gives us.
Let's see Spy Cave from Yume.
This
And the question is if he does decide to immediately check the Ether tablet, go back to Death Mountain, or go to Desert first. I am afraid of the latter.
He does need to do Desert sooner or later, but yeah, it'd be nice to find out. Okay, here we go. So what they don't want to see here is the bow.
Yeah. I mean,
Or yeah.
the bow would give a lot of mixed feelings. Okay. Now it all makes sense. That's
T-Rock
terrible. I would definitely head back to the east right now. You can complete it, probably.
It's T-Rock or Ice with that, so...
I would love to do T-Rock before Ice in this case. And you're already on the mountain. I guess it's kind of bad that you cannot check Mimic Cave.
Yeah, but they're gonna just check Dark Death Mountain first. There's no reason to run straight into the dungeon when you've got, what, 4 items in Hookshot Cave plus Super Bunny.
Yeah. But, I mean, what are the odds that there's actually something in there? Do you really expect the mirror? The game wouldn't be that nice.
We know. Oh, it's even.
Okay, well, no dip into TR.
Extra denied. Hinging on that, 2 in 3 chance, and it's just like no.
At least we have the information. That's really important as well.
Ether's gonna be right here now that he's, just left or jumped off.
Yeah, without the mirror, finding Ether right here is pretty annoying. Wow. Absolutely nothing.
We still have Super Bunny. We still have Super Bunny at the very least, so...
Ether plus mirror? Oh, that is nice.
Well, I guess it's Mire time.
I don't have the flute yet.
Not Mire. Ice. The other...
Ice or Smiths. That's what's left.
I think in a weird sort of way, you know what, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm just going to go with, yeah, I think probably Smith is the best choice.
Being able to have another dungeon out of the way, does make sense to go into Ice, but it's just not very... It's always a bad feeling to not be able to go mode it.
That's probably the only reason I'd actually do Smiths first, is just being able to potentially go mode Ice.
Yeah, but still needing the mirror and the bow. I mean, even if you get the mirror right now and Ether, do you really have the guts to say that the bow is potentially in Cannon's Tower or Turtle Rock? King's Tomb is open as well. We'll see when they decide to check that.
That would be something that I would personally try to put off until Mirror, because I'd really want to get that as part of a Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, being able to be efficient in that way is certainly pretty important.
Having to take a trip up there to get Bonk Rocks, then another trip up there to get King's Tomb, then a third trip to get Graveyard Ledges. Not what you want to do.
No, I agree.
Until the seed puts, Mirror in King's Tomb, and then you're like, okay.
It's the same reason to hold off on the Smith area right now, though, because you'd really like to have the mirror.
Yeah, having to save and quit and do the loop again is a pain.
Especially without the flute.
Boot at least makes it relatively quick from Sanctuary, but yeah, Flute is definitely much nicer for it.
So we're going to see a bomb jump from Cappy. I have no idea how the Cactuar Sprite works with this, but he does seem to get it in the first try. Nice.
If you do it based off the shadow, it's not really any different between most of the sprites.
Now, I personally usually look at the shadow for the first occasion and then the sword at the second one. It's actually really cool that there are so many different setups for all the different tricks. And the visual cues.
Yeah, there are people that use like the top of the sprites as well. Whichever you find to be most effective usually works pretty well.
Consistency above speed at this rate. That's really important.
No, Cap, you can't stand on the chest and open it.
Here's some bombs. Nothing here yet. What was the first item that we found here?
Looks like either Cold Stare is going to have stuff or it's going to be on the right side.
I always love how the sprites just go through a locked door here.
It's strange because there are other doors in the game that appear to be, or at least Eastern's door. I'm not sure how much this comes up, but some of them are actually locked from both sides. And then here it's just like, no, it's an open door. They can't possibly get back here.
I'm not sure if the big doors are... oh yeah, the Eastern big door is also double locked. That's the second item. I mean, I understand it with how the door of the stair is locked, but that you can just go backwards through the big door is kind of weird. Okay, so Yume also got his mates.
I guess they had to account for it in Eastern because the side that it is double locked on is the side that you actually walk past first, but I think they put a push block in the way anyways, so...
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of weird.
Has Kepi doing Cold Stir before?
Oh, this is greedy. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this one.
It takes a bit of time to get back to right side, but if Cold Stir has the item, then they're just out of here because they've already got 2 of the 3.
Yeah, it is quite a gamble. I mean, if he has a key, then it's not too bad because then you can use that key to go straight to the right. But if it's just a map or a compass, it really feels bad.
Yeah, it's just going to turn into a bit of a time waste. Well, we're about to find out anyways. Ugh.
Or did I miss him getting an item from the big chest? That's possible, maybe? I don't know, because he got to the iced tea room and then went back and fell down. I think.
Yeah, I think he only got 2.
If I'm wrong on this... Huh. Okay. Please
now he's debating. No, he's just gonna hope that one item isn't anything.
Yume is still right on his heels.
If they check right side, and it's something important, well, that's going to hurt.
Yeah. I mean, there's still only so many items or locations that are available.
Meanwhile, King's Doom.
So, ooh, new interesting check.
No wonder the king needed to be buried.
Long think there before the save and quit. I wonder what's going through his mind right now. I mean, we still need 3 items in order to enter go mode, so leaving locations like an item in ice behind just feels really risky.
Well, I guess that's why they're called gambles.
Yep, very true. You do have to wonder that after a lost location mids like that, how behind do you feel? We're going to see a pedestal check.
Well, this could be... Is this going to be the... So what could be here? Mirror and Ether? Because it can't be bow.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Can't be bow, can't be flute. Nothing else is relevant. Yeah, just pocket change.
Oh, right.
Yume deciding not to do the bomb jump. That's the cane, so kind of makes sense. You don't need to do a whole loop around to get back. So, Cappy going to do the Smith route. That's going to be a few save and quits. There's still hammer packs as well, but aside from that, I'm not sure what locations we have. There's still the 1 item in ice, so...
Well, Cappy is definitely hoping that the Smiths have something, because it's going to be a bit of a trip to get back to ice, so... on the other hand, if there is something in ice, Yume might be taking the advantage here. Not necessarily a lead, but having at least something on their side.
Okay. Moment of truth number 1. Just a big 20.
Nope, that's not what he's after. Not?
Oh, save and quit.
What?
Okay.
That's unusual.
Where is he going now? Just
Is it
follow the slide.
turn for catfish?
Oh, he hasn't checked catfish yet. That's true.
But that's not where...
Okay, yeah. He was dashing 3 different ways.
Cappy, pick a direction. we can't keep an eye on all 3 at once.
I believe that there is only one, that there is one thing worse than making a wrong decision, and that's hesitating. It feels so bad if you hesitate and are not sure where to go.
I mean, if it's hesitating to stop and be like, wait a second, I don't have the item to access this, it's better than taking the entire trip there and being like, ah.
Yeah,
This
as long as you're sure what you're doing, but just, it is very, in my opinion, it's very important to just make a decision and stick with it. And that also has a lot to do with experience and knowing what is open and what you can do.
Alright, Yume going right side here for ice.
Cappy probably checking Ice Rod Cave since he also hasn't checked that yet.
Which freezing location are you going to? Back into ice or to Ice Rod Cave?
Both don't seem excellent.
Alright, yep, it's Ice Rod Cave time.
Really delaying Smiths for as long as possible. I do hope he realizes it is an option.
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure he just doesn't want to go through the trouble of having to save and quit. It's a bit unusual that he didn't do it while he was there, though. So I'm not 100% certain on that. It is kind of one of those more bizarre things in the game.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
I mean, as long as, yeah. Oh boy. Oh, that's a staring at the screen.
I'm really curious if Cappy miscounted items in ice, and that's why he went straight to cold stare.
That's very possible. For Yume, this is really good though, because I think you would love to find the ether before the mirror, because it opens up so fewer locations than the mirror potentially for the boat to be.
Yeah. All right, Cappy, what are you doing?
If, say, the mirror is locked behind the smiths, then Cappy is in a whole load of trouble, because there is less incentive for him to go back to Ice Palace ever. It opens up Swamp, it opens up a lot of different locations. And especially if the realization is not there that there is an item left in Ice Palace, then there's lots of trouble.
All right, by the sounds of it, yeah, Cappy may have accidentally counted 3 items in ice, so it might be quite some time before they make their way back there.
That's very worrying.
Yeah, unfortunately when you're using an item tracker, all it takes is one accidental double click, and you think you've got everything.
Yeah, that could be very unfortunate. A very nice cold stare
That delayed
fight.
double hit on the bottom one.
That was beautiful. I mean, I still use a map tracker and dungeon item tracker after months, so some mistracks have definitely happened to me as well. It feels really bad.
It
Can't blame.
happens to everyone at least once or twice, and it's really terrible when it happens.
Yeah. You don't wish it on anyone.
No.
Just the dread, all the worrying. Did I actually miss something? Where did I miss something? Retracing all your steps. Cape. That doesn't do anything. That was, I think, a full heart on the bump ledge.
I'm guessing we're going to see purple chest here in a moment. Hopefully it doesn't have anything. Meanwhile, Yume's gonna just head up to T-Rock, I think.
On the other hand, if the purple chest has the bow, and Yume finds the mirror, then he might still be okay if he eventually remembers to go to Ice Palace. There's quite some scenarios left that are okay. Where? What? Oh, he hasn't checked it yet. Okay, but otherwise, he is in a lot of trouble if he decides not to remember about Ice Palace for a while.
I think Yume just poked over here and took a look when they were doing Super Bunny and stuff. I don't think they actually. I think they checked before they got the Titans mids.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's not right. What am I talking about? Yeah, I guess they just didn't check it earlier.
Do you mean the Turtle Rock medallion?
Yeah. Or... Did Yume actually check that earlier?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I'm just being silly then.
I mean, I think that's the reason why they went straight down here. After getting Ether and Ice.
All right, Cappy. I think your last place to check before you have to start rechecking is purple chest.
Yeah, there's not much left otherwise. And let's just hope he remembers that something might be off about the items that he's gotten in ice. But there's still an entire right side left for him. Getting the nice fence dashes towards the north though. That's always swaggy to see.
They're both having really good execution. It's just unfortunately in this case for Cappy it is something that can easily happen, and especially when you're trying to hit buttons really quickly. This is a tournament race. You're going to be nervous. And all it takes is one misclick.
One misclick, just seeing Burrito as a bomb upgrade. There's a lot of things that can happen. But especially in a high pressure situation such as this, it's just a shame.
I can speak from personal experience that tournament matches are very, very nerve-wracking compared to even like the large group races and stuff.
Yeah, those just happen a few times, and it's like, you know what? I'm still okay, even if I don't do well. But when you're actually playing for still being alive for the tournament, fighting for the 1-1 instead of the 0-2, I mean, you're still not down and out at 0-2, but it's going to be a lot rougher. But then a different kind of pressure starts kicking on. It's just a piece of heart from Purple Chest, so he's probably going to be thinking long and hard about what he needs to do right now.
All right, Marissa's just going to take a small mushroom break here.
Yeah, that was kind of beautiful. I was wondering what was happening there.
What did Cappy get from Purple Chest?
A piece of heart.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's, I believe, all open locations, so I think this is the point where he realized that he's absolutely forgot something at this point.
Yeah. Let's hope he will realize that he needs to do something. Just go through locations, just double check stuff, because this is pretty... It's the only way to stay in it.
Meanwhile, though, we can at least keep watching what Yume is doing over in T-Rock, see what progression is going to come out of here with the Ether Medallion now. Personally, in a strange way, I'm hoping it's Bow, just so they don't have to worry about it going into GT.
Yeah, GT Bow is definitely, on the sillier side of things. It's not something that you would want to ever see.
Especially when it's in the big chest or something.
Or tile room.
Yeah, or tile room. Oh, that'd be the worst. Going in there, opening first chest, big key, second chest, little key. Guess what? Bows and tile room anyways.
Enjoy your full clear.
Yeah. Well, I guess it wouldn't be the worst. It could, give you shovel or something and tile room instead, but...
Oh, please. You are a sadistic person. Okay, Cappy probably double check.
Come on, I've read enough chat.
Yeah, that's true. They have the worst ideas. Yeah, it is still Ether, sadly. Oh, there's the mirror. So that is GT mode.
So do you death warp back to Mimic Cave at this point?
I would just mirror out and do Mimic Cave first.
Oh,
yeah.
Death warp. What am I talking about? We got the teleportation item. Oh my god, my brain is.
Yeah, it has to happen to you once that you just realize, wait, I can check it right now. We've had mirrors in Turtle Rock, or even on Trinex with Bow being in Mimic Cave. Those are very desperate times once you realize it's actually in logic.
Yeah, I'd imagine at this point, Yume's probably going to definitely take the like they're going to go into swamp and probably full cleared, even though they're effectively, even though they effectively have access to GT, just because I personally would not risk going into GT without the bow if I didn't have to.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard decision. There, percentage-wise, the bow is more likely to be in GT than it is in Swamp or any of the overworld locations. What I would personally do is probably check K45 and Swamp, and then go into GT afterwards.
Yeah, but since they have to go through swamp, they might as well check everything while they're there.
Yeah.
Like my argument isn't run around the entire world map looking for the bow. It's just since they're in swamp, you might as well full clear it, just in case.
Okay, at least Cappy is going through his previous locations, so that's good. Yume finished off Turtle Rock, did not decide to check Mimic Cave, so there is one lone location right there. But yeah, concerning the bow, I agree. I would full clear Swamp. I would definitely check left side for it. I would also check K45 and Bombux Tablet, but I would leave Graveyard Ledge alone in this case because it's just it takes a lot longer to check it.
It's one item. The problem is, it's that one item.
Of course, in this situation, there is a lot of a meta going on as well. What do you expect your opponent to do? Do you think he'll just rush and go to GT? And do you think he's ahead? In that case, you might as well full clear everything in the hope that it's not in GT, and you'll gain your advantage that way.
That's not even the type of information that you can reliably gather from people if you try to study your opponents either, because it's not a situation that comes up all that often. Hey, what does my opponent do if bow might be in GT?
No, exactly. It's like, how do you expect your opponent to generally play? Like, does it seem like he or she relies on execution and gain advantage that way, and does just full clears the rest? Or is it a gambly type of person? You can gain a lot from just checking a few races. But
Cappy heading back into ice.
this is a really good sign.
If it does come down to bow being in a really dumb location, Cappy could still be in this.
Yeah, definitely.
They are behind T-Rock. They haven't been able to finish that yet, but if Yume decides to go full clear GT for bow and Cappy's like, no, I'm going to go check Graveyard Ledge, and it's there.
Or Mimic Cave. There's two really, well, not necessarily trolly, but awkward locations to check. So he's definitely not out yet.
This is definitely one of the worst parts with bow being unrequired beyond GT is the game can... It becomes the new Ice Rod at this point, except with even more possible locations.
It's more of a GT Big Key and Key Sanity.
Yeah, it can be in even more locations than the Ice Rod can be, and
it's a terrible feeling to have to be looking for it. I mean, I can attest to that. I had the exact same situation yesterday, and luckily it ended up being in Turtle Rock instead of some random overworld location.
Well, that's really, really fortunate.
But the dread that you're going through while you're going through Swamp Palace and Ice Palace, just full clearing it, while it might just be rushable in Ganon's Tower. You have no idea what your opponent is doing.
Cappy attempting the bomb jump here to... Is it actually a setup to... Huh.
That's very interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. Apparently it's pretty safe as well. Either you're too far left and then you just bounce down, or you go over to the right side. That's nice.
I spent so much time wiggling along the side of that hole trying to line it up right, and apparently you can just bonk a wall and...
I mean, I'm not sure why it just didn't go north through the spark room and then fall down, but to each their own. I mean, it's pretty swaggy. That's important as well.
Cappy needs to be careful here, running low on hearts.
Yeah, There is a antivirus or a bunny beam in this room. You might be able to use that to powder. You may not checking left side first. It makes sense if you're only looking for one item. It's definitely very reasonable to just do the main part first and then going back for the left 2 items. If they're even items. Overall, it is a bit slower to check left side after you killed Argus, but it might be a higher percentage play to do this. Like, okay, Cappy at least finds his Ether now, and is not happy about it. But they still be able to go to Turtle Rock and clear that, find the mirror, see if he checks Mimic Cave.
Yep, now it is the race to find the bow. Yume does have a bit of an advantage here in having already completed T-Rock, but again, if it does come down to a really silly location, I could see Cappy gambling that it's in GT at this point, just because of the time that they've already unfortunately lost due to Ether's location.
Yeah, there's 2 lines of thought here. Either, okay, I might not be that far behind and I just try to get to GT before Yume, or I'm so far behind, I just need to clear all the overworld and hope it's in there, and that's not in GT. I don't think he can allow to take a middle ground in this case.
Fairy, come back!
That's so terrible. The fairy in this location is just... Oh. Okay. The fairy heard his pleas.
Wow, swamp full of love. We found all the hearts. They're all in swamp.
Would you say it's swamped with love? I'll see myself out.
I've already been called out on bad puns before, so I can't complain that much.
Well, you can. It just wouldn't be very nice. Alright, going back for left side.
So if Cappy gets the mirror, heads back, and checks Mimic Cave, wow, that's basically an inversion in who has advantage, because I don't think Yume is going to come back here for quite some time. I can't help but feel that they're going to exhaust every other location before Mimic.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's not that many locations left in general. Of course, after Swamp, I expect a K45 check. And maybe even the Graveyard Ledge. But I don't assume the Graveyard Ledge check. But then I would just go straight into Ganon's Tower. Full clear that. If the bow's not there, then you're gonna cry and go back to Mimic Cave.
They also have Pyramid Fairy available to them because of Ice and Turtle Rock. And they also have... did they do that? I don't think they've done the Smiths. I think only Cappy did them.
Yeah, true. Yume has not done the Smith area yet, neither the Hammer Pegs. So there's actually quite a bit that Yume still has to check. Or, well, not has to, but has accessible. That might matter quite a bit. If there's so many locations left, does that make you more or less inclined to actually just dive into GT? Yeah, again, there's like multiple ways to have this rationale in your head. Either, there's so much to check, I might as well just be very thorough before heading into GT because there's so many locations where the bow could be. Or when there's very little, there's only a few locations left to check, so I might as well check those before I head into GT.
No, don't save and quit. Yeah, it really comes down to runner preference as to whether you just want to take a gamble that it's not going to be in GT and just check a bunch of disparate locations, or if you're just going to be like, there are like 20 odd items in GT before before I even have to worry about using the bow. That's more than 10% of the items in the game in this one location.
There's 22 locations in GT.
23 if there was a big chest, which you can totally
right.
be in.
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, you're right.
And there's
technically, Yume did kill the last boss before GT, so we can start the GT Vicky guessing game.
I guess maybe when they start heading up in that direction, it would be a good idea.
You have a very long time to wait before
people start throwing their numbers in.
I mean, it's not the official Speed Gaming channel,
yeah.
so we don't have the leaderboards.
It's not an official one, so.
But you can start with any number from 1 to 24. Okay.
All right, yeah, definitely get your numbers in now because we're on our way.
We're officially in go mode at 1 hour 40 minutes in for Yume. Yeah, this is bad news for Cappy.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's it's going to have to take a lot of struggles in GT and on the final fights for Cappy to catch up at this point. They still need to go through swamps. They need to hit Pyramid Fairy. They're still finishing Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I mean, now everything that might be checked before Pyramid Fairy is just bad news instead. Like if he mirrors back to the Mimic Cave now, it's like an extra minute that he's losing.
Yeah, it's gonna be unfortunate, but I could also see him being extremely thorough at this point just because of what happened earlier.
There is still a slight chance if Yume has issues with Ganon's Tower and Ganon, and if Cappy decides to check the Pyramid Fairy before Swamp in order to maybe being able to go mode it. But even then, there is quite some minutes difference between the Ganon's Tower entries.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot for Yume to fall behind here. Now we can definitely say Yume has a lead. It's not technically insurmountable, but in every way that it is, or could be made up, is ways that we really just don't want to wish on a runner. So
yeah, there's no routing difference that's going to make a significant enough difference that will close the gap. It's all going to be execution now. And Cappy took a definite into the rack trying to do the laser skips.
Riot Shield immediately in GT. Well, it looks like we're going left side.
Wow. I don't think you'd like to see that shield at this point. All it does is cause lag. There's no more laser skips that can be avoided with this.
Bob gets to live. Whether we visit him will be a different story, but...
Chad making a good point that there cannot be another Mimic Cave check because Cappy took the safety exit.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's theoretically a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know that there is not a whole lot that we actually could still be useful. Nice flute.
See, so if they come straight to GT instead of checking Pyramid Fairy, that would have been really, really scary right there.
Yeah, there could only be bad things coming out of this.
Here you go, have a flute. Oh no.
At least Yume knew that though. It could not be pedestal in the first place because further pendant EP and pod. I don't know what I was thinking.
It would still be dumb getting to GT and being like, I don't have the bow. Oh no, the flute. Guess I better go kill the entry.
Yeah, you never know. Sahasra might be hiding something.
Oh yeah. But fortunately, Yume already found the bow.
Crisis averted. Cappy does need to be a bit careful. Can't take another. Oh. Wow. Okay.
Is that actually commentator's curse? You didn't finish the sentence. Did that count?
Whoops. Yeah, this is only becoming more and more painful, sadly.
Unfortunately, that just tends to happen. Once you already realize, like, he absolutely feels behind at the moment. There's no doubt about it, especially with the ether medallion problem. And once you get feeling that way, it can be really, really hard to just keep everything focused and working the way you want it to. It's real easy to get jittery and just lose control of fights.
Once you start to feel like you really need to go fast, that's when you start to go out of your routine and start making mistakes.
Yeah. I liken it myself to, I forget how to play when I hit go mode.
Yeah, because then you start focusing on different things. Once you purely start focusing on execution, that's when the entire mindset changes.
Alright, second fight good. Also, basically free kill on ice armors with silver arrows.
It's a nice fight to be able to do.
How appropriate that we got silvers as our opening item and bows our go mode item.
Yeah, and we felt like there would be trouble brewing once we saw what that pod was a pendant as well, but that it actually ended up being such a disaster. Yeah, it was pretty ironic.
The block boot for a little bit of good entertainment from Yume there.
Definitely deciding to show off a little bit here. Might be always good.
Oh, go ahead.
Might be feeling good about the decision to check Pyramid Fairy.
Oh yeah. There's always a bit of an argument over, showing off versus just playing at full efficiency.
Yeah, again, it's a little bit of a mindset thing. Once you start hitting the swaggy stuff, you start feeling better about your general execution as well. That might positively reinforce yourself to play better. And it's just fun for the audience. Alright, we found our big key. That was chest number 19, I think?
I don't know.
18. Our tracker says 18. I trust our tracker.
I do too. I only count up to 6, so that's the most items in one dungeon, so I don't need to know any other numbers.
Yeah, at some point you're like, big key, finally? Good, okay. Nothing else is important. It's there.
Nice mimic rooms there, holding the sword out and just sliding around.
Another one of those rooms where it's awesome that there are so many different strategies for it. Just like this room. If you get a consistent feel for this room, it's very nice. You may decide to just play it a bit safely. It's very reasonable as well.
Don't want to lose too much health before the gauntlet and have to pick up the safety fairies here.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to fill up here on magic as well. But not being able to do it, of course, is faster.
And now for one of the 12 worst rooms of the game.
The gauntlet is awesome. It's in a way it's a true test of skill.
Yeah, but the 3 red Stalfos room is really unnecessary.
That one is not the worst one. The worst one is this one for me.
It just gets gradually worse. Here's jumping enemies with a Beamos and some conveyors. Now here's some annoying enemies with Beamos and conveyors. Now here's ice annoying enemies, Beamos and conveyors. And now let's have a jumping enemy on ice.
Okay, Chad. 1 through 5. Which gauntlet room is the worst? We have a definite disagreement here.
All right. I'm sticking with 2, the 3 red Stalpos. I hate them so much.
All of them. Okay.
I think the answer is Bombos. How's that?
After the first initial spin, you may decide to use silvers anyway. Nobody says free. This saddens me.
Wow, there's more votes for my room. A whole 1.
No.
Ah, no. Ellen, please.
Thank you. A true energy runner, I see. The problem is if you don't have Fire Rod, then that room is just terrible.
So I'm actually a big fan of just using the lamp in this room and jumping in the hole.
Yeah, I usually just go right, then up, then just slide along, lamp the first 3, then use the Fire Rod for the 4th one. But again, so many different strategies. I'm not sure which one is optimal if you have half magic. Waiting for the trigger to happen, that the door closes, so you don't get screwed over by the despawn glitch.
That is probably one of the worst ways a runner could lose a race, is just having to literally redo GT. At this point, it still wouldn't be enough to make the difference, but
yeah, because meanwhile Kapimozr is handily dispatching Argus here. Probably will go back to the left side. But then we have to see if he actually decides to go back and do Pyramid Fairy as well, or dive straight into Gannis Tower, which opens up a whole can of worms.
I really, really hope he heads straight to Compass at the top of GT.
Uh-oh.
You can find the boss now. He's wandering to the left. Go upstairs and go to the left a bit more.
This is bad news bears.
Oh no. Oh no, he's gonna get the flute.
Alright, geometry quiz. Getting 2 hits on the first phase, I believe.
Yep, up to 3. This fight would be easier for me if I actually paid attention and, math.
True math. Okay. That's really good.
Can't argue with that.
4 cycle is just decent. Once it starts going any longer, you just get frustrated. Oh, with any bad luck, we get to see what's in the tower room as well.
Yep.
Oh, let's see our Ganon fight.
So the good news is with Tempered, this is a pretty simple fight. Don't have to worry about spin slashes all the time.
Oh, that's a nasty hug.
Yeah, unfortunately getting Ganon hug.
Yeah, there's definitely a few safeties that you can use. The cape, the cane, they both help.
Oh no,
the cane
leg.
Sadly causes a lot of lag though.
It is more magic efficient, but
Or we don't have. He doesn't have. Does he have the cape?
I think he's got the cape.
It's not on the tracker. I'm not paying enough attention here. No, he doesn't have the cape because the cape was on the blacksmiths, and you made it. Not
Oh yeah, yeah.
So sadly, lag was the only option.
Or hookshot. Hookshot's a difficult one to use for that, just because no, it's timing.
Yeah. I mean, there is quite a big invincibility window, but sometimes the bat
Sometimes the
just
bats-
hits you right as it runs out.
Yeah.
Alright, I think there was 3 hits. 4 silver arrows should seal the deal, and yeah, that was a pretty clean fight.
Yep. GG to Yume.
Yume will be finishing with an approximate, just checking his timer time of 1:55.19. So, GG's. I'm not going to be saying that.
I'll pass on that too.
So let's see if we can get Yume in here, if he's ready for that, to answer some questions about this beautiful seed. Cappy's still looking for the big key and the bow. That is probably going to activate the flute after this ends up being nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be really unfortunate if they head into Meyer.
And we got YumeTsubasaCH here. GG, congratulations on the win. How are you feeling?
I cannot describe how I feel with words that are appropriate for this channel. No, honestly, I don't deserve that when I played so bad the first like 30 minutes. It's oh my gosh.
Yeah, you were trailing a bit, especially at the start. You had some unfortunate mishaps with the key rat.
Well, that's actually the second time. I had a bump start in the first race and butchered that there as well.
2 bomb races in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not feel good. And yeah, there were a few moments that you had to take a hit. That was also with the crabs near the ice rod cave, but aside from that, your routing certainly seemed to make sense, and you got back in it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean the routing was good. Also, do I see that correctly? Cappy doesn't have the bow yet.
Yeah. So
Let me actually guess. He got walled at Cold Stare when we had to like defeat him with what was it, 9 or 10 hard screen mail?
You're close. He did run into an issue in Ice Palace, but it wasn't Cold Stare. He actually killed Cold Stare pretty quickly.
Okay.
He mistracked the number of items he had gotten out of ice.
Oh no, did he not get ether?
yeah,
He did not get ether.
Oh damn.
yeah, that was the big issue that Cappy ran into. Decided to recheck a couple of things before heading back into ice. And by that time, you had already found the mirror, so he was behind about a dungeon at that point.
Okay.
And then after finding the mirror, just decided to do a quick sweep of Swamp Palace, and then decided to go into GT and not checking Fat Ferry.
Oh.
And
I mean, honestly, I would have gotten all the overworld locations and probably even gone into Mimic Cave before going into G Tower without the bow.
Yeah, see, that was the big point that we had as well after you found the mirror. You did not decide to check Mimic Cave after you found the mirror and instead went to Trinex. Was there a particular decision, reasoning for that?
Honestly, when I got the mirror, I was on autopilot. I was just like, okay, good. I can do Swamp. There are so many items. Let's do this. I can also get Bumbo's tablet. I can now get the Frog Quest relatively quickly, and all the stuff around that. I can get the other 2 items at the grave. So I thought, well, okay, it might bite my ass, but it's like 20 items versus 1. Plus there is still GT, so not worth it to do all of that stuff again in T-Rock. Also, because of the first like 30 minutes, I felt way behind at that point already.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I mean, the seed wasn't very nice with the distribution of pendants and crystals, allowing the bow to be virtually anywhere, of course. So. Oh, okay. Well, okay, quick in between. Cappy, instead of activating the flute, which he found in Ganon's Tower, does check the Fat Fairy right now. So he'll be entering actual Go mode pretty soon as well.
Taking the long way around, though, rather than the mirror shortcut.
Yeah, that's something that you just need to be aware of one time.
It's easy to forget just because of, well, to be completely fair, it's not that often you've killed Aghanim and have the mirror.
But yeah, aside from that, how was the seed aside from the bow? The mids were in a pretty nasty location as well, so it certainly didn't treat you very nicely.
The sequence to the mids, man, you had to for the logic get Cane of Burner, then go to Spy Cave, get the book, save and quit because the mirror was in T-Rock, go up Death Mountain again on the right side to get the Ether Tablet to get the freaking mids. That was one heck of a sequence.
Yeah, I don't think the seed had any intention to make anyone feel ahead, because there were so many things that could go wrong and so many red herrings, so many weird locations to go to, and of course it was forced Aghanim as well.
I mean, the very fact that the seed put the bow in such a position where you can finish all the dungeons and be like, okay, what now? That's just not pleasant to encounter.
Yeah, I guess for decision making, it was actually good that I got all the items out of Eastern and Pod, so that I was like, okay, it cannot be in the Eastern area anymore, except it's probably in Meyer, the Green Pendant. But yeah, I think that actually helped me a lot with routing, that I got that out of the system relatively quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
We were basically just hoping that the flute wouldn't show up before the bow, just because, like, oh no, here comes like Sahasrara holding it after Meyer.
Yeah, after Cappy went into GT without the bow, and you already having found the flute in the skeleton room, we were pretty afraid that would be a lead he decided to follow. But I think after you finished, he decided that it's not via GT.
Wait, how did I get a sub 3.5 minutes item menu time? Whoa!
Very carefully.
I mean, with late mirror and no flute, you have less reason to menu a lot. You also had some pretty early swords as well, so that helps.
Yeah, sure, but I actually thought this is gonna be into the 5 minutes.
Speaking of swords, I have to ask.
Right.
When you were going up to Death Mountain the first time, you, I guess, didn't want the tempered sword from Lumberjack Cave.
Nah. At that point, there was so much game left, and not really anything that I had to kill with the sword. That was a problem with a Master Sword. So I thought, well, let's just do it. We will find tempered somewhere, and if not before going into GT, I will get it later on.
That's fair.
And somewhere around the 1.5 hours, I guess. I forgot where it was actually, or that there was a sword upgrade at Lumberjacks anyways. But I didn't need it anymore anyways.
Yeah, you did find the sword in Battles of Darkness afterwards. But it was pretty amusing to immediately see that check, find a sword up in the Lumberjack Cave, then finding another sword in Kakriko. I was like, okay, well, who knows? We might need that.
I mean, Cappy grabbed it just because he could.
Well, I actually had I guess it was a bow start seed recently where I was on border like 12 minutes in. That was fun.
Yeah.
The days of being able to just pull butter sword out of a chest right at the start.
Yeah,
yeah.
close enough, I guess.
It's basically the same thing. Here's all 4 swords immediately.
Yeah, V29 has been pretty interesting. I've had multiple seeds where I couldn't find a sword at all and actually had one as my go mode item. Or you just get all of them at the start. How have your experiences been with V29 so far?
Yeah, this. I don't know. It's kind of either you get Master Sword like in the first 15-20 minutes, easy peasy, at least Master Sword, or you are waiting for your first sword like for 40-45 minutes usually. It's one of the two things that's mostly happened to me.
Yeah, it does seem to be pretty lopsided so far. But how are you feeling about the tournament? You're 1-1 now, I believe. Any opponents that you know are in 1-1 and you don't want to face?
Nah, honestly, I'm not looking that much onto which opponents I can get, because yeah, in the end, it doesn't matter if I execute properly. There should not be many people that I really struggle against. But yeah, I didn't execute in both of the matches that I had yet, so yeah, I'm kind of happy with the 1-1. Have to work again on the execution because yeah, I did a heckload of key sanity at the start of this year. So I'm kind of used to have too much stuff around, I guess, and yeah, that is biting me a little bit right now. But yeah, should get better again.
Yeah.
Have to untrain that key sanity mentality.
I mean, I will still go for as many items as possible in one spot and stuff like that, of course, but yeah, actually, in the first match, I died at the key rat. That was a thing, and I went for a witchery that I did not have to kill because I totally miscounted or was on autopilot for key sanity to just check every chest, and yeah, that actually lost me the first match. So yeah, there are a lot of things I have to work on right now because of that key sanity that I played for so long. But yeah, I think it will get better soonish.
Yeah, just with a bit of practice. I mean, your general execution, again, just seemed pretty fun already. You had some mishaps at the start, but once you started rolling, it all seemed clean. So you should be good for the coming rounds, I would say.
I hope so. I want to make it to the main tourney this time.
Meanwhile, Cappy is in the Agatu fight, so we'll be entering Ganon relatively quickly.
Those energy balls not being particularly nice, but there's a triple to
Nice
finish it
triple.
off. All right, on to the game and fight.
I'm actually not really sure what to ask. Do you have any closing thoughts on the seed?
Yeah. Generally, like I said, there were some very interesting sequences that you had to make, and I want to say it was a very fine seed and a fun one to actually play. Well, except for bomb start, but yeah, that is a problem that I have right now, and that I have to work on because I can already see it happen in round 3 again.
Really hoping you don't get another one, because it is nice to play with the different items or the different starting weapons, and just getting the same one over and over again is just kind of tedious and boring.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, escape itself is not the problem. It's really just that one room with the rat, because you usually are on green mail, so I don't want to like deboost with a bomb in my hand on the 4 possible rats. If you try to throw a bomb immediately left, you can actually get popped by a rat and take 1.5 hearts of damage. That happened in the first match. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. All the other weapons I'm fine with. The rest of escape I'm fine with, but that one room is just pulling my teeth right now.
Yeah, that's definitely the rough part of having the bomb start. Kapimozr actually makes really short work of Ganon, so he'll be finishing soon with a time of 2:11:44. So put some GGs in chat. He definitely deserved it after making his way back into Ice Palace.
Not quite sure if he'll feel that way about it, and what was Ether, but definitely a big thank you for finishing out despite that.
Certainly some dedication to still manage to put it through after just being stuck for a while.
Yep.
And let's see if Cappy also wants to join us for a quick interview. Hey Cappy, welcome, and GG, how are you feeling?
That was interesting. That was cool. That was probably the first time I tried to actually count my items in Ice Palace, because I tend to just get everything anyway. So I thought I had gotten 2 sets of bombs and then the red boomerang. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. And then I left and I did literally everything else. I was like, well, maybe I counted the bombs wrong in Ice Palace. And I sure did. So that was cool.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough spot, but definitely good on you for making it back in there and being able to find Ether to continue the seed. I can imagine that just second doubting yourself about everything that you do at that point must be really rough.
Yeah, and then for some reason the tracker I'm using is kind of old, so the blacksmith doesn't show up as doable if I don't have the mirror. And the mirror was like one of the last things I needed. So I was thinking, and I was like, gee, I have no idea what I can do. And I remembered that. So then I went and did that, and he gave me like the cape or something dumb. So like, oh, okay, so it has to be there. And I go, and it's a heart container. I'm like, oh, okay. I realized I need the purple chest. And that gave me like nothing again. So I was like, well, all right.
Yeah, it was certainly, you were certainly being led around at that point. And yeah, of course, there's the matter of the bow that must not have been too nice either.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that when I found the mirror. I was like, oh, okay, finally I got everything. And I went and did Swamp Palace, and I got to like right past the big chest. I was like, oh, I don't have the bow. So I went and checked those chests, and I was kind of hoping that it wasn't in the rest of Swamp Palace. And I would have checked the Bombos tablet and then the Pyramid Fairy right after that, except I think Yume wasn't done at that point, so I figured that if there's some sort of miracle and the bow is actually in Gannis Tower, then and he's gone and checked everywhere else first, then like that would be my only chance to get back into it. But that's why I went there reasonably quick after doing entire Gannis Tower.
Right, yeah. We were kind of afraid that once you entered Gannis Tower and found the flute, that you would follow that red herring. But luckily you made it back to Pyramid Fairy. Possibly because Yume was already done at that point.
Yeah, I figured that it wasn't going to be in Mire, so I'm glad I found it there, though, like reasonably quick, because I don't know how long everybody would want to watch me run around and do the 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone would have tried to stick it out, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, like it gets boring for me because I already know I lost, so it's like, all right, I just got to go find the bow because I missed it some stupid place probably.
Were you already dreading it once you found out that pod was a pendant as well?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of nice because that's why I went in there early without the bow, because there's only I wouldn't need to complete it anyway, so I might as well finish that off. Same for Eastern.
Yeah, it just has the implication that the bow could actually be in GT as well, which sometimes
Yeah.
routing-wise causes for some issues.
All right. Well, still GG in the long run, and definitely thank you for finishing it up. It was still a good watch. It's really unfortunate that happened, but it is. I think everyone's experienced it at one point or another, and it feels bad, but it's a mistake you learn to definitely avoid in the future because
Yeah, I gotta try to pay more attention. So I was in Ice Palace and I was thinking about like, okay, where am I gonna go next? Because there's not an awful lot that I can do. And I grabbed some bombs, and then I was thinking back, like, do I have all the items? And I remembered the bombs twice as two separate things. There's one, but I mean that happens, especially when I'm trying to think about other stuff and there's a lot going on. So, I mean, GG to Yume for obviously doing things better than I did.
Man, honestly, watch the first 30 minutes and see me derp like an idiot. But yeah, GG. GG.
any final comments from you two?
I guess I said everything earlier. Yeah,
That's fair.
there is nothing to add.
Any closing thoughts from you, Kapi?
I don't really have anything else to add about this. Good luck, Yume, in the next matches.
Same to you, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
And
both
thanks
certainly
for
still.
everyone who's in charge of all this stuff, commentary and restreaming and tracking and otherwise.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes, of course, for a tracker, Michael K, and my co-commentator, Voidborn Beast. I think we did a pretty good job. And of course to our restreamer, Xelnas. There are going to be some there's probably a lot of other races going on. It's already over? Oh, okay. Well,